What if the world's most recognizable handbag wasn't just a fashion statement, but a case study in how perception, process, and pricing alchemy turns stitched canvas into a cultural asset? Today, we're going inside Louis Vuitton. Not just the glossy ads and monograms, but the actual making, the workshops, the materials, the labor math, and the markup logic that transforms a few $100s in inputs into a multi-thousand-dollar object with a waitlist. This isn't a takedown or a love letter, it's a clear lens. We'll look at how the bags are designed and built, where cost truly lives, how luxury inflation works, and why people keep paying. By the end, you won't just recognize a Louis Vuitton, you'll understand it. Start at the beginning. A bag at Louis Vuitton is born in a design studio, not a factory line. Creative directors and product teams sketch silhouettes against a living archive, balancing heritage elements, the LV monogram, the quatrefoil, the demier checks, with modern proportions, hardware, and use cases. Every curve is intentional. Every millimeter of strap drop, every stitch per inch, every gusset thickness is calculated for both aesthetics and structural integrity. Before a single production piece is cut, prototypes run through a gauntlet of tests: abrasion, humidity, UV exposure, flex cycles on handles and straps, zipper pull endurance, and load bearing, simulating years of use in days. Hardware is plated and replated to pass salt fog tests. Edge paint gets baked, cooled, and flexed to reveal cracking thresholds. This phase is costly time, specialized equipment, and expertise you don't see in the product shot, but it's where luxury earns longevity. Materials are more nuanced than leather. The iconic LV monogram you see on many bags is often a coated cotton or linen canvas. Light, strong, highly durable, bonded, printed, and sealed with a proprietary finish that resists scratches and moisture. It's not cheap plastic, it's engineered textile. Where leather appears, it varies by model. Full-grain calf, torillon, epi, embossed with a distinctive ripple, vachetta, untreated, pale leather that patinates over time, and exotics on special orders. Each leather has a different temper, grain, and behavior under knife and needle. Zippers and studs aren't generic. Most are custom-tooled brass with lacquer or precious plating, engineered for feel and lifespan. Linings can be microfiber, cotton drill, or leather, each affecting weight and cost. Even the edge paint, those glossy, sealed edges on straps and panels, is a specialized polymer applied in multiple coats, sanded between passes. One bag might receive 3 to 7 layers, each requiring cure time and skilled handwork to avoid ripples and bubbles. Cutting is precision. Rolls of canvas and hides are spread on cutting tables. For canvas, pattern placement matters, aligning monograms across seams and centering motifs, so a front panel mirrors a back isn't accidental. It's planned yield, which wastes material and raises cost but preserves brand aesthetics. For leather, cutters work around scars, veins, and color variation to select the cleanest portions for visible panels, leaving less perfect pieces for internal parts you'll never see. Some houses use automated CNC cutters with camera recognition. Others combine machine rough cutting with artisan placement for motif alignment. Hardware components, buckles, rings, rivets, arrive from dedicated suppliers under LV specifications, often in France or Italy, and pass QC for finish, sheen uniformity, and tolerance fit with leather thickness. Assembly is where handmade meets industrial craft. Luxury isn't a lone artisan at a kitchen table. It's a workshop of trained craftspeople working in cells, each bag moving through stages that require both hand and machine. Stitching machines, often flatbeds and cylinder arms, are calibrated for thread weight, stitch length, and tension, so the top and bottom threads lock perfectly within the material, invisible to the eye. An artisan will hand-skive leather edges to reduce bulk at folds, apply contact cement with a micro spatula, align edges by eye and jig, then stitch with a guiding foot. Corners and turnouts are heated and shaped with bone folders or Teflon tools to avoid glazing the leather. Handles are built like miniature bridges, a core for strength, leather wraps skib thin, seam allowances hammered with cobbler's hammers, edges painted and heat set repeatedly. The famous contrast stitching you see, that's linen or polyester core thread, often waxed or bonded at a consistent stitch per inch. Miss one and the panel is scrapped. Edge finishing is a science. Raw edges are sanded smooth, wiped clean, Painted with a first coat, heat sealed to penetrate fibers, cooled, then sanded again. Repeat. Each coat reduces micro gaps and builds a rounded profile that won't fray. Luxury failures often show up first at edges. That's why this step is slow and unforgiving. The final coat must cure fully before hardware is set, or compression will leave a permanent pressure halo. It's one of the most time-consuming parts of the build, and one of the invisible ones. Quality control sits at multiple checkpoints. Sub-assemblies, handles, straps, pockets, are inspected before they meet the main body. After final assembly, a bag is cleaned, steamed to relax wrinkles, stuffed to shape, then checked for alignment. Monogram symmetry, straight stitch lines, consistent edge radii, hardware orientation, zipper path smoothness, and squeak creak under torque. A pull test might apply specified Newton force to handles and D-rings. Bags that fail are reworked or scrapped. Dust bags, care cards, and packaging follow. Each is part of the brand experience, but also the logistics system that protects the product during shipping and storage. Now the question you came for. How much does it actually cost to make one? Exact internal figures are closely guarded, and costs vary by model, material, and production location. But we can break the cost stack into realistic buckets to understand the economics. Start with materials. Coated canvas is relatively cost-efficient for its durability and yield. Premium leathers raise raw costs significantly. Exotics multiply it. Hardware, zippers, and linings add dollars per piece. Custom tooling and plating add more. Labor is not cheap. European workshops in France, Spain, and Italy pay skilled wages with benefits, and production is slower than fast fashion by design. Quality control, rework rates, and scrap for motif alignment all increase effective labor and material costs per saleable unit. Packaging, freight, and duties, especially for global distribution, add a few percentage points. If you roll those into a rough unit cost for a classic canvas model, you might land in the mid-hundreds of dollars before overhead. For leather-heavy or complex designs, higher. But that number isn't the whole story, because the biggest costs aren't in the bag, they're around it. Overhead in luxury is brand infrastructure. Flagship leases on the most expensive retail streets on earth, sales associates trained for concierge-level service, visual merchandising that changes seasonally, security, inventory, financing, and global logistics. Then there's design and development, studios, prototypes, testing labs, and innovation pipelines that never stop. Marketing spans global campaigns, celebrity and artist collaborations, runway shows, pop-ups, and content. Compliance, IP protection, anti-counterfeiting, and legal spend are enormous. Finally, there's R&D and craft training, multi-year apprenticeships, and in-house schools to replenish artisan benches. In cost accounting, these expenses roll into allocation per bag. They don't show up on a factory bill of materials, but they drive the retail price just as surely. So why the markup that makes headlines? Because luxury pricing isn't a cost-plus formula. It's value-based, anchored in scarcity, heritage, and signaling. A bag's price reflects not only what went into it, but the right to belong to a story that spans a century and sits on wrists across red carpets, boardrooms, and airport lounges. Pricing also manages demand. If demand exceeds capacity, remember, capacity is limited by craft cadence and QC bars. Price becomes a lever to balance waitlist with production, preserving exclusivity. And because the asset is cultural as much as functional, resale markets feed the logic. If a bag holds or even appreciates in value on the secondary market, the primary price isn't just for use, it's for owning an asset with liquidity. That's not every model and not guaranteed, but it's part of the ecosystem modern luxury manages. Craft and cost differ by line. The Speedy and Monogram canvas is a masterclass in economical durability. Lightweight, scuff-resistant, motif-aligned, with robust piping and handles that patinate beautifully. The Capucines, by contrast, leans into leather craft, structured bovine or torillon panels, complex assembly, heavier hardware, and more hand finishing. Limited editions add unique materials and artisan techniques, marquetry, embroidery, beadwork, hand painting, that explode labor hours and require specialist ateliers. Special orders can alter dimensions, colorways, and hardware, introducing engineering complexity to preserve structural integrity with non-standard requests. Each rung up the ladder shifts the cost profile and the craft intensity. People debate handmade versus machine-made as if one cancels the other. In reality, luxury is hybrid. Machines bring consistency where consistency is quality, straight seams, precise perforations, even tension. Hands bring judgment where judgment is quality. Material selection, corner turning, edge painting, motif alignment, and problem solving when natural materials behave unpredictably. Watch a seasoned artisan correct a slightly tight zipper track with a heat wand and a micro shave of leather. Watch them judge the ideal stitch back at a stress point. These are micro decisions that protect longevity. True luxury is the right machine guided by the right hand at the right moment. Sustainability in luxury is complicated but evolving. On one side, premium materials last longer, meaning fewer replacements and less waste in use. Repair services and the ability to refurbish handles, re-edge paint, and replace hardware extend lifespan. On the other, tanning, coatings, and global logistics carry environmental costs. Houses are investing in traceability for leather, lower impact tanning processes, and circularity programs, all while fighting the environmental and social damage of counterfeiting. A bag that lives 20 years gets repaired twice and then resells still beats fast fashion's quarterly landfill cycle. But the industry has more work to do, and pressure from informed clients is accelerating that work. Quality myths deserve a clear answer. Canvas isn't leather, so it's cheap. Coated canvas is an engineered strength-to-weight choice. It resists water, holds print crisply, and keeps a bag light enough for daily carry. Leather models exist for those who want that feel and look, but canvas is not a cost dodge. It's a design decision with its own expense profile. It's all marketing. Marketing can sell a first bag. Product earns the second, third, and decade-long loyalty. If a bag creased wrong, cracked early, or failed at hardware, the market would punish it. Luxury lives and dies by repeat purchase, invisible wear. All made in the same factory as fast fashion. False equivalence. Different materials, different tolerances, different cadence, different QC bars, different outcomes. Luxury workshops can be modern and efficient. What matters is the standard, not the romance. If you want to recognize real craft in a store, learn to see. Look at motif alignment across seams. Does the pattern flow or break awkwardly? Check stitch length and consistency. Are back stitches tight and discreet at stress points like strap roots? Run a fingertip along edge paint. Does it feel smooth and rounded, not gummy or sharp? Open the bag and inspect lining attachment. Clean glue lines, no overspray, tight tucks at corners. Zip and unzip. Does the slider run straight without bumping into warps? Lift by the handle and gently rock. Any creak from hardware, rub, or leather strain signals future squeaks. Weight the bag in your hands. Luxury often feels lighter than it looks because materials are engineered for strength without bulk. These are the tiny tells that separate pleasant from premium. Where does the money go after markup? Beyond costs and overhead, luxury houses invest in risk buffers and long horizon bets. They finance inventory that moves seasonally and geographically. They hold archives and museums. They fund artisan schools to keep disappearing skills alive. They buy and modernize workshops to reduce dependency on third parties. They litigate to protect IP and keep counterfeits off marketplaces. They invest in digital experiences that must feel as luxe as a flagship boutique. Shareholders expect returns, yes, but the capital-intensive nature of global luxury means profits must underwrite resilience. In downturns, houses with deep war chests protect headcount and craft. In booms, they scale carefully to avoid diluting standards. Counterfeits distort the conversation. A fake can look convincing in a photo, but materials tell the truth under finger and time. Inferior coatings crack, edge paint chips, hardware plating flakes, textiles shed, and smell betrays chemistry. Beyond quality, counterfeits fund criminal networks and exploit labor, with no warranty, no repair ecosystem, and no accountability. Luxury markups help pay for anti-counterfeiting tech, micro-engraving, NFC chips, supply chain tracking that protects both the house and the buyer. If you're in secondary markets, buy from reputable resellers with authentication guarantees and return policies. If a price is unbelievable, it's asking you to believe in fiction. Let's talk about the psychology we're really buying. A luxury bag is status, yes, but it's also reliability, continuity, and a kind of cultural membership. For some, it's a reward for goals achieved. For others, a uniform piece that makes daily dressing effortless. There's also the quiet joy of an object that ages with you. Vachetta darkens, corners polish, the handle gains memory from your hand. In a disposable world, a durable companion is a small rebellion. The markup includes that feeling, hard to quantify, easy to recognize. Could a high-end, non-heritage brand deliver equivalent quality at half the price? Sometimes, yes, especially from independent makers who skip flagship overhead in global campaigns. Many do superb work, and if you value pure craft per dollar, they're a smart path, but they don't give you the same resale liquidity, cross-market recognition, or service network. The luxury premium is an ecosystem premium. Whether that ecosystem is worth it depends on your priorities. Maximum craft density per dollar, or a blend of craft, service, and cultural signaling. Inside the workshop, time is the invisible cost driver. A bag that looks simple might hide complex operations. Turned corners that need steaming and slow cooling, internal reinforcements that must settle, adhesives that require stage cures, straps that require 7 edge paint passes with drying between, hardware that must be set in a strict sequence to avoid stress marks. Each pause adds hours without adding visible features. Luxury chooses patience. That's one reason two seemingly similar bags can live at different price tiers. One is built for speed, the other for longevity. Maintenance closes the loop. A well-loved bag returns to the spa, edges refreshed, corners cleaned, hardware tightened, linings repaired. Houses run repair centers where parts are cataloged by model and year, and artisans trained on legacy techniques keep older lines alive. This repairability is part of the value proposition. You're buying an object plus a support plan. Contrast that with disposable fashion. When it fails, it's trash. With luxury, when it fails, it's a ticket back to the bench. When you hold a Louis Vuitton bag with this knowledge, it changes how you see. You notice the way pattern symmetry calms the eye, the way a handle's core keeps shape under load, the way a zipper path curves without waves, the way edge paint glows subtly under light. You understand that monogram canvas isn't a shortcut but a choice, that the stitching you admire is half machine precision, half human judgment, that the price isn't only paying for what you touch but for the quality of what you don't. Tests passed, apprentices trained, stores staffed, risks absorbed, and a promise that when you walk in with a 10-year-old bag, someone will still know how to care for it. It's fair to ask hard questions of luxury. Are materials responsibly sourced? Are workshops fair and safe? Is the environmental footprint improving? Are prices outpacing value? Informed clients push the industry to better answers. The future of luxury will belong to houses that can show traceability, invest in circular repair and resale, and maintain craft while reducing harm. The good news is that measurable progress is possible and already underway. The pressure should stay. So how are Louis Vuitton bags really made? With engineered materials that balance beauty and durability. With hybrid processes where machines ensure consistency and artisans ensure soul. With time-heavy finishing that protects the parts most prone to fail. With quality control that rejects the merely adequate. With an ecosystem of stores, training, logistics, and service that makes ownership feel like membership. And yes, with markups that shock if you only count leather and thread, but make more sense when you count everything else wrapped around them. If you're choosing your first luxury bag, buy with eyes open and hands engaged. Try on, inspect edges, test sips, feel weight, ask about repair policies, and pick a piece whose function and form match your life. If you already own one, maintain it. Wipe it down, store its stuff shape, keep it out of extreme heat and humidity, and service edges before they fail. Treat it like the companion it is, not a trophy. The best luxury isn't loud. It's quiet reliability that moves through years with you. In the end, the mark of a great bag isn't just that it announces a name, it's that it lives up to it. When craft and cost and markup align with reality, you can feel under your fingers. The price becomes less about math and more about faith kept. And when a house keeps that faith across the decades, the monogram stops being a pattern and becomes a promise. If this helped you see beyond the monogram, do future you a favor. Hit like so this breakdown resurfaces when you're shopping. Subscribe for more deep dives into how iconic products are truly made, and share this with a friend who loves craft as much as logos. The more we buy with understanding, the better the things we carry will become.